When we say it is a cloud, we can divide the cloud into service model as well as a deployment model. What is IaaS? IaaS is nothing but infrastructure management is a key function of the core middleware which supports the capabilities. Developers design their system in terms of the application and are not concerned with the hardware. Total dependency on the internet. If you are not having internet connection, you cannot use any of the applications. Hello everyone, welcome to the session of Cloud Computing. Myself, Indu J, Faculty of Computer Science Department, Vidhyaashram First Grade College, Temple of Excellence, MYSURU. Today in Cloud Computing, we are going to discuss about Unit 2. What we have in the Unit 2. Let's see what all we have in the Unit 2. Initially, we have Cloud Service Model, then Cloud Deployment Model, then Cloud Computing Architecture, Virtualization and Virtualization versus Cloud. When we say cloud service models, we are going to discuss mainly three important service models in the cloud. When we say it is a cloud, we can divide the cloud into service model as well as a deployment model. What is service model? The cloud, what all the services it is providing, that is called as service model. When it comes to the deployment model, how the cloud has been deployed, how it has been put, that is called as deployment model. Today in this session, we are going to discuss only about the servicing models and the comparison of different service models. Not only these three, we have different service model apart from this, but for your syllabus, we have only these three service model to be discussed. Let's have a look. What is cloud service model? Most cloud computing service falls into the 5 broad categories. How many? 5 broad categories we have in the service model. One is software as a service, platform as a service, infrastructure as a service, anything and everything as a service, and as a function as a service. Before going for this, we have one more thing called as on-premises service. On premises, like we can put that in the form of stack. Here what we have is on premises. On premises. Next what we have is as, then PaaS, then SaaS, then AX, then function as a service. So initial what we have is on premises. What do you mean by on premises? All the resources should be belongs to one particular thing or one particular company. Service model represent what, how and what service the cloud is providing. On premises means all the resources, everything put in together at the one place and they are using their own resources. That is called as on premises. Then as, that is infrastructure as a service. It is providing the infrastructures to do something, to do anything in the software field. That is called as infrastructure as a service. Then what we have is platform as a service. Simple, they are giving infrastructure as well as a platform to develop the software or develop the application. That is called as platform as a service. Then what we have? SaaS, software as a service. Here already in the past we have developed the application. That application is we are using in terms of software. That is called as software as a service. That is everything, anything and everything, including infrastructure, PaaS, SaaS, all together put in are providing as a service. And function as a service, only we are providing some inbuilt function for developing the apps. That is called as function as a service. To make you understand, I will give you one real life example. Okay, everyone loves food, right? Will eat, right? So take the example of food industry only. Okay, here on premises means what? Here you have your own kitchen, you have all the resource of the kitchen to make some particular dish. That is called as on premises, your own kitchen, and you can prepare whatever you want in that kitchen, right? With all the resources like utensils, groceries, gas, stove, everything you are there. That is called as on premises, your own kitchen, you are preparing whatever you want. Next, what we have is as infrastructure as a service. If you go to hotel, okay, there they have their resources and you want to prepare something for yourself in their kitchen. That is called as infrastructure as a service. You are using someone else's infrastructure to prepare your dish, the dish according to your choice. That is called as infrastructure as a service. Next, what we have is platform as a service. You go to any hotel, you sit on the table. Just what you'll do, you check out the menu, and once you check out the menu, you'll order for something. Someone else's kitchen, someone else is preparing, and just you are enjoying the food. That is called as PaaS. That is platform as a service. Here you can consider the table is your platform. Everything comes onto your table. That is a platform as a service. Then what about SaaS? SaaS is what? You don't even want to go to kitchen. Nowadays you have a cloud kitchen, right? Zomato, Swiggy, you just sit in a house and order something, check out the menu, what they give you, just use, order it, just pay for it. That is called as software as a service. Everything is done for you. You are supposed to enjoy the food. That is called as software as a service. Okay, getting the point. What is on premises, as, PaaS and SaaS services? Let's see in detail what the service architecture we have. This is a complete service model, cloud service model, what they have provided. Here we have a system infrastructure, that is a hardware resources. Here we have a hardware resources. This hardware resources is converted into virtual machine. After converting that virtual machine, we are using some of the cloud hosting platform to use these resources. What resources? These are all the resources. What all the resources? It may be the processor, it may be the storage, that is memory, it may be any networking resources like routers, hub, modems. All the resources will comes into the physical resources or system infrastructure. This all falls where? This all falls in as. What? As is giving you everything, resources, virtual machine, and then the operating system. Then PaaS, what we have? All thing that is given with the as plus some application platforms. What all the application platforms? Mashups, concurrent and distributed programming, workflow, libraries, scripting languages. It gives you an application platform. Then what with the SaaS? With as well as a PaaS, it is also giving some applications which has been developed here that will be deployed on the cloud and user will be using it. That is social computing, entrepreneurs, scientific computing, all are the application that user use it. Okay, so this is a complete infrastructure, complete service oriented cloud model. Difference between as, PaaS and SaaS. What is as? As is providing infrastructure and the system development, whereas PaaS is providing computing platform and the technology as a services, and SaaS, what it is providing as a services? Already developed application it is providing as a services. Okay, let's see in detail what is as. As is nothing but infrastructure management is a key function of the core middleware which supports the capabilities. Okay, as solutions are suitable for designing the system infrastructure but provides a limited service to build the application. It will provide you all the resources. You need to build your own application using the resources. They deliver the customizable infrastructure on demand. How much memory you want, how much processor you want, what all the networks you want, that will be delivered by the service provider on demand of whom, who is going to develop any application, as offering the range of a single server to entire infrastructure, including the network devices, load balancer, and the database and web server. What all the resources it can provide? It can provide a single server as a resources. Also, it can provide complete setup as an infrastructure as a resources. That is network devices, load balancer, and the database, web services, everything it will provide. Okay, the main technology used to deliver the implement these solutions is a hardware virtualization. Kindly note, this is an important topic. We'll discuss this topic in the further sessions also. Hardware virtualization. What do you mean by virtualization and hardware virtualization? Creating virtual machine or virtual resources which does not exist. Since we have a limited hardware or physical resources, we have to convert those physical resources into the virtual resources. That is called as hardware virtualization. Okay, as solutions brings all the benefits of hardware virtualization, workload partitioning, and application isolation. Okay, then this is a structure of as. What we have a physical layer, that is a physical infrastructure. What all we are having? Data centers, cluster, and heterogeneous resources. Heterogeneous resources means different resources combined together form the heterogeneous resources. Okay, this physical infrastructure or physical layer will be communicating with the software management layer. Here in the software management layer, what it is managing? It is managing all the software like pricing, reservation, which client or which service has to be provided with how much resources, that is reservation, virtual machine, virtual image repository, how we are converting this physical resources into the virtual resources, and virtual machine pool management, how it is pooling from one user to the another user. This all comes under the software management infrastructure. And then what we have is user infrastructure or user interface, that provides a communication between the software and then the user. Here we have a communication between software and then the user. Here, who is the user? User will be the developer. Who is a user? User will be the developer who knows to build something new. Okay, he don't want to use the existing, he want to build his own software, own application. Those type of users use this as a service from the cloud. Okay, next, that is what we have discussed in a theoretically. Possible to distinguish three principal layer. That is what we have done. The physical layer, lowermost layer, the software management infrastructure layer, that is a middle layer, and then the user interface layer. That is what, like this. This is physical layer, software management layer, and this is user interface layer. Okay, let's see one by one what this layer contributes. User interface layer, it provides access to the service exposed by the software management infrastructure. This, by using this, we are implementing the user interface layer. It provides the software services by software management infrastructure. Such as an interface is generally based on Web 2.0 version technologies, that basically the web services, RESTful apps, APIs means application program interfaces, and mashups. These technologies allows either applications or the final user to access the services. Who is the final user? Developer. These application allows what? Allows the developer to use these softwares or services. The web services and the RESTful apps allows the programmer to interact with the service without human interaction. So here we are interfacing or interacting with the servers without human interactions. That is about user interface. The second one is software management interface. In the software management interface, the core feature of as a solution are implemented in the infrastructure management software layer, that is a middle layer. In particular, management of the virtual machine is the most important function performed by this layer. We have a resources, we have to manage those resources in the effective manner or efficiently. Who is going to do that? The software management layer is going to do that. It will manage all the resources for which particular user, how much is requested, and what all the resources that has to be provided. Everything is managed by software management layer. Central role is played by the scheduler, which is in charge of allocating the execution of virtual machine instance. It also take care of execution of virtual machine instance, converting the physical resources into the virtual resources. The scheduler here, who is a scheduler? This particular layer is a scheduler. What scheduler will do? Scheduler will schedule the resources, the execution, which has to be provided, at what time, for how long it has to be provided. Everything will be taken care by the scheduler. It also take care of pricing and billing components, take care of the cost of execution each virtual machine instance, and maintains the data that will be used to charge the user. As I told you, cloud service is what? Pay on use. So how much you are using, you are paying only that much. This particular layer will take care of pricing and billing, how much you have used, what all resources you have used, for that how much you have to pay. That is also taken care by the software management layer. Next, what we have is physical infrastructure layer. What we do in the physical infrastructure layer is a bottommost layer is composed of physical infrastructure on the top of the management layer that operates. Okay, above this physical layer, the software management layer will operate. It also provides the considerable heterogeneous environment where different types of resources, heterogeneous means mixing of different types of resources like PCs, workstations, cluster can be arranged. Okay, in case of complete as solution, all these three levels offers a service. If you want only one server, infrastructure will provide that server as a service, or you want everything as a service, that is physical layer also you want, software management also layer you also want, and user interface layer also want. Everything can be provided in the infrastructure as a solution. Okay, these are some of the service providers who provide infrastructure as a service. Basically, Amazon Web Services. So all of you heard about AWS. Many advertisement will come on the AWS. So AWS is a first and mostly used web service provider for infrastructure as a service. Apart from that, Amazon Web Service, we have NetMagic Solutions and Rackspace, Reliance Communication, Sifi Technology, and Tata Communication. These are some of the service provider platforms which provide infrastructure as a service. Okay, what are the advantage of using infrastructure as a service? Can freely locate infrastructure over the internet and cost effective. Instead of building your own infrastructure, you are using some other infrastructure, so it is cost effective. You need not to buy the server, you need not to buy the routers, you need not to buy the modems, like that. Someone is having it and you are using it for particular time duration. So you can freely locate your infrastructure on the internet, and it is cost effective because you need not to buy anything. You are just renting it out. So for example, if you want to buy a good car, so how much it costs? A lakhs together. If you want to rent the same car for particular hours or for particular day, the cost will be less. Similarly, here it is a cost effective. Global accessibility. Since it is connected with the internet, you can access your resources from anywhere you want, and you can do your job. Nowadays all companies are doing work from home. How? That is globally accessible. You can access the resources from anywhere and wherever you want. Then easy integration of devices. Since we are converting the hardware devices into the virtual devices, easy to integrate the layers. Then scalability. Scalability means you can raise the resources or you can reduce the resources whatever you are required depending on your program or the execution. High availability. Whenever you want, you can avail the resources, that is high availability. Full control of the virtual machine, because it is a base layer of the cloud service. You have a full control over the virtual machine. So as I told you, this is what we have as a service. This is a hardware, this is a virtual machine, this is as, this is PaaS, and this is SaaS. So this is just above the virtual machine. So full control over the virtual machine as will be having. Then issues in as. What are the issues we are going to face when we take infrastructure as a services? First issue is compatible. Compatible means here in the as we have to use only the licensed software. We cannot use the free softwares. Whenever you are using any software services to develop some software, you have to use only the licensed software. Okay, then virtual machine. What is the issue in virtual machine? Creating the virtual machine is a big headache. Apart from that, mismatch between what we have is virtual machine and then the cloud service provider will be there. So that is one of the major issue what we have. Then what we have is a issue as a robustness. Robustness means splitting up the single system resources into the different systems, that is creating them as a virtually, that is called as robustness. Then data deletion. Data deletion means once the user delete that data, service provider has to delete that particular data, but it does not happen usually. So that is a one more issue what we have in the infrastructure as a service. Characteristics of infrastructure as a services. What all the characteristics? Pre-installed software on the virtual machine. We are getting everything is set up. We are getting installed softwares. We are getting installed operating system. It is all ready. You need not to install anything into your system. And resource on demand. Whenever you are working, on that time only you are accessing the resources. Simply you are not taking the resources and keeping aside. Whenever you are working, you use those resources. Whenever you are not working, you give that back to the service provider. And multi copies of data. It will be having different copies of data. If data is lost from one server, you can access from the another server. It will be having the multiple copies of data. Scalability of computing. As I told you, whenever you want, you can increase the resources. Whenever you want, you can decrease the resources. It's very dynamic. That is called as scalability. These are all the characteristics of as what we have. Then second type of service what we are going to discuss is platform as a service. That is called as PaaS. PaaS, platform as a service. Solution provides a development and a deployment platform for running applications in the cloud. So far what we have discussed about the infrastructure. Now we are discussing after developing some software that has to be deployed onto the cloud. So that will be done by whom? That will be done by PaaS. It also provides the platform to develop and design some of the software or the application. Here you can say it is a 3D. 3D stands for design, develop and deploy. So 3D, you can design your own application, you can develop your own application, and you can deploy that application onto the cloud. They constitute the middleware on the top of which the applications are built. It provides a platform. As I told you, it provides you a table to have your food. That it constitutes the middleware on the top of which applications can be built. A general overview features characterizing the PaaS approach. This is a general. Here we have a physical infrastructure. Here we have a infrastructure as a service provider. So if you want to take this PaaS, you should have as compulsory. Okay, it provides a communication between the physical resources, then from the physical resources to the virtual resources, from virtual resources to the as, then PaaS. What it provides? It provides the scalability and elasticity, that is increasing or decreasing. It uses a runtime execution environment. Whatever you are developing, the software or the application, that has to be in the runtime. Then application management, how to manage the application, who all can use those applications, that is called application management. Quality of services, it has to provide the application such that it should meet the quality of the services. Then resource management. These are all the characteristics of PaaS, that is a middleware. From here what we have is interfacing. Here web based interface, we have web services. It will provide portal, REST APIs, programming APIs and the libraries. These are all the platform that is provided to the user to develop his own application. Okay, who is the user here? User is a developer here. Developer, that is middle level developer who don't have much idea about the resources. Just by inbuilt functions and the inbuilt libraries is going to develop any application. Such type of developer is a user in the PaaS. The application management is a core functionality of the middleware. He is going to develop the application and it has to be managed. Who is going to manage? The user itself is going to manage the application. That is a core functionality of the PaaS. PaaS implementation provides the application that are runtime environment and do not expose any services for managing an underlying infrastructure. Just he make use of the infrastructure what it is there. He is not bothered to manage that particular infrastructure. For example, I have given you the kitchen example in the beginning. So you are using someone else's kitchen. You are going and you are preparing your dish and you are coming back and you are having that dish. That's it. Cleaning the kitchen or managing the utensils there, managing the groceries there is not your headache. Whose headache it is? It is the headache of the person whose kitchen was that. Okay, that here the service provider will take care of all the management issues. They automate the process of deploying the application to infrastructure, configuring the application components, provisioning and configuring the supporting technologies such as load balancer, database and managing the system changes based on the policies set by the user. Whatever the user requests for, those according to that it will provide the resources. Developers design their system in terms of the application and are not concerned with the hardware. They are not concerned with the hardware. Whichever the hardware available on that particular platform, using that platform is going to develop the application. So these are all the components of PaaS. What all we are providing in the PaaS? They are providing the operating system. That is the first thing what they are providing, operating system. They may provide the Windows operating system, they may provide you the Linux operating system. They provide the operating system. Whichever the operating system they provide, you have to work on the same operating system. Then it can provide the database or database management system. Okay, a complete management system also it will be provide, or only the database it can provide. So then next what we have, it will provide is infrastructure. All the infrastructure will be provided by the PaaS. And then cloud infrastructure includes the servers, storage, data center, networking. It is not uncommon for the PaaS provider to buy the infrastructure for as provider, from as provider. So whenever you are using PaaS, you should have to have as well as. The development tools, it will provide the development tools. What development tools? Application development tools it will provide. It will provide a complete tool. Using those tools, you have to develop your own applications. The development tools includes an IDE, Integrated Development Environment. IDE stands for what? Integrated Development Environment. A compiler, it will provide you the compiler as a development tool. It will provide you the debugger as a development tool. Then it will provide the middleware. Middleware bridges the gap between the operating system and then the end user. This is a middleware. First component, second component, third component, fourth component and fifth component. This middleware provides the bridge the gap between the user and then the operating system. Okay. So these are all the components what we have in the PaaS. Then characteristics of PaaS. PaaS means platform as a service. Application management is a core functionality of the middleware. PaaS offers browser-based development environment. It allows the developer to create the database and edit the application code either via application program interface or point and click interface. You can go to the programming code, there you can change the code and you can do the application editing, or by using drag and drop, point and click. You can use the mouse to point and click when editing the application. PaaS provides a built-in security, scalability and the web service interface. What it will provide? Built-in security. Security for the data that you are accessing and the application that you are developing. And the scalability means you can use the resources whenever and how much you want. The web service interface is also provide the web service interface because it is interconnected. It is connected with the internet. Obviously, we have to use the web-based services. Okay. Next, in the character, what we have is a PaaS provides a built-in tools for defining the workflow, how the workflow has to be, approval process and then the business rule. How the workflow will be? First, we have to design. Alright. Then after design, we have to develop. After develop, we have to deploy. That's why I told you this is a 3D pattern what we have. In design, you have to know what application you are building. You have to have the blueprint of application, how it should look like and what all the characteristics your application should have. Then depending on the design, you are going to develop that particular application. Once you have developed, it has to go for testing. Who is going to test whether your designed application is meeting all the requirement of design or not. So that will be done on testing. In testing, in the development, what we have? Development, we have compiling, debugging, everything we have. In the testing, we have different types of testing which meets the design characteristics. After testing, it has to be deployed onto the cloud. That is a workflow what we have. Once it is testing, it has to go for with the approval procedure, and then we have to follow the business rules to deploy that application to the cloud. It is easy to integrate the PaaS with the other application on the same platform. You are using the same platform and thus one application is developed. We can integrate that application to the another application. We can combine two applications in the same platform. If you are working on the Windows platform, it is easy to have Windows Word as well as Windows PowerPoint presentation or Windows Doc, right? So you can combine together. If you are working on the Linux, you cannot use a doc in the Linux and Windows PowerPoint or Windows document. You cannot combine those two. You cannot have an interface between those two. That's why they say you can have the interface with the same platforms. The PaaS also provides the web services interface that allows us to connect the application outside the platform. If you want to connect with the outside the platform, we have to go with the web-based interfaces. Then we have a different type of PaaS. One is PAS 1, PAS 2 and PAS 3. Let's see what is PAS 1. The first category, that is PAS 1, identifies the PAS implementation that IDE completely follows the cloud computing style of application development and deployment. That is, we are using IDEs here. What is IDE? Integrated Development Environment. We are integrating the platforms or integrating the application using the development environment. That is a PAS 1. They offers the integrated development environment hosted within the web browsers, where we are using this IDE on the web browsers, where applications are designed, developed and composed and deployed. For example, who are using this PAS 1, force.com and Login Jump, both delivers the platform, the combination of middleware and in the infrastructure. These are the example where they are using PAS 1 category. Then in the PAS 2 category, we can list those solutions that are focused on privileging the scalable interface with the web application, mostly API, application program interface. Here also we are using the web application, but in the PAS 1 we are using IDEs, in the PAS 2 we are using application development interfaces. In this case, developer generally uses the provider's API. He uses the programming interfaces which are built on the top of industrial runtime and develop the application. We are not designing it, we are just developing the application using the APIs. Example, Google App Engine. Google App Engine is a platform where you can develop your own app. Is the most popular product in this category of web application. Here also it is been PAS 2 is also been used for web application. Then comes with the PAS 3 category. In the PAS 3 category, this is a third category consisting of all these solutions that provides a cloud programming platform for any kind of application, not only with the web application. Whenever they are using a third category of the PAS, you can develop any type of application, not only restricted to the web application. Among these, the most popular Microsoft Windows Azure, who is going to provide a PAS 3 category of services. Azure, Microsoft Windows Azure, which provides the comprehensive framework for building service-oriented cloud computing applications and using .NET technology. Which technology they are using to have a service? .NET technology. This is about third category of PAS. Let's see the advantage of PAS. Whenever we are saying that PAS, it should have all the advantage of AS. Why? Because it's built on the top of AS. So all the advantage of AS will be there with the PAS. Apart from that, we have reduced financial risk. We no need to purchase any of the resources, and with the PAS package, all the resources will be given. So it reduces the financial risk. The deployment speed. As everything is provided on the network, the speed of deploying your application will be faster because all the things will be available there. Okay, just you have to put it onto the cloud. So deployment speed is more. Geographical location advantage. That's anywhere, wherever you want, you can deploy, you can design your application. That is not restricted on the geographical location. For example, you can if you go to the IT companies, in particular project, around 12 to 13 members were working on one project. Need not that all the 13 members should be in the particular office only. There are some of them in the office, some of them is out of country, foreign. They are interconnected with the different clients there. They are communicating and to form one application. So that is geographical location advantage. Scaling, definitely whenever you are using the cloud computing, scaling is a very most advantage what we have. Then reduced development time. As platform is provided, everything is provided, development of any application will be very easy and you can do it very fast. You need not to go for basic functions, writing the functions. Functions and libraries are provided. Using those functions and libraries, you are designing or developing your application. So development time is less. No need to install and configure the system into your particular desktop or particular system. Everything you can do it online. And then some more advantages: provides the template and reusable applications like security. It provides a template for developing the applications. Develop the application for multiple platform, not only one platform. You can develop different application using a single platform like computer, mobiles and the browser. You can, if you are developing one application, that can be used for different platforms, that can be used for computers, that can be used in your mobiles, or that can be used with the web application. Cross-platform development is also supported by PaaS. Then affordability can be used by the small to large organizations, so the individual can also use the sophisticated software, business intelligence and analytical tool. Who are going to buy this platform as a service? Small to large organization. Everyone is going to use PaaS as the service. Next, what we have issues or the disadvantage of PaaS. What we have a disadvantage of a vendor dependency. Who is a vendor? Vendor is who providing the services. PaaS services who is providing is called as vendor. Vendor dependency, very dependent upon the vendor's capability. If you are using Amazon, it will give you the Linux operating system. Consider it will give you the Linux operating system and you are used to work on that particular platform. So if you want to switch from one platform to the another, from AWS you want to switch to the Microsoft, there you have a Windows operating system, Linux and Windows. The working model is slightly different, so you may feel difficulties. That is, you are dependent on the vendor, whatever the platform provided by the vendor. And the risk of locking, that's exactly what I said. You are used to using that particular platform. If you want to switch to the other platform, it is difficult. That a risk of lock-in, it's not easy to switch from one platform provider to the other platform provider. Compatibility, difficult may arise if the PaaS is used in conjunction with the existing development platform. Means one development platform you have, with that existing development platform you cannot include the characteristics or the components of the PaaS. Then security risk. Whenever we say it is a security risk, obviously it is publicly available on the cloud, anyone can access it. So while PaaS provider secures the infrastructure and the platform, the businesses are responsible for security of their own application. Okay, that is a challenges what we have in the PaaS. Then these are some of the service provider who provide PaaS as a service. One is Google App Engine, Salesforce, Windows Azure, AppFrog, OpenShift and Cloud Foundry from VMware. These are all the some of service providers who is going to provide PaaS as a service. Next, what we have is software as a service, SaaS. That is called software as a service. Yes, SaaS. Okay, is a software delivery model that provides access to the application through the internet as a web-based services. It is all web-based services. It provides the means of free users from complex hardware and software management by offloading such tasks to the third party. Who is the third party? User is a third party. Here, user third party need not to worry about the software hardware management. It will be free from that workload. Okay, it will be offloaded from third party. This requirement characterizes SaaS as a one to many. For example, you can take Facebook. Right. Facebook is one application that is developed on some platform, Google platform, right? So this is an application. Here, this is a software that has been used by different user, one to many. So only one application is there. How many are using this application? Millions of people are using this application. That is called as one to many. Software delivery model whereby an application is shared across the multiple user. Facebook, you can take your Swiggy, Zomato. So only one application, but how many people are using? Many billions or million people are using these applications. Okay, in this is the case of CM3. CM3 is a customer relationship management. It is a software developed for having the relationship with the customer, an entrepreneur having the relationship with the customer, and ERP for that, entrepreneur's resource planning. ERP of entrepreneur, how to plan his resources so that he can run his business efficiently. These are some of the examples for SaaS applications. The software as a service model, the application of service is deployed from centralized database access, network, internet, intranet, LAN or WAN providing. What is the condition here? You should have a network connectivity to avail any of the software as a service. Users rent, subscribe to or assigned or are granted access to the application from the central provider. How user can be using this SaaS services? Either he can rent that, he can subscribe to that particular service or application, or he can assign some task on that application, or he can grant the access. For example, you can take your OTT platform, Netflix, Disney, you can subscribe to that particular thing. When it go for Ubers and Ola, you are renting that particular application and assign. If whenever you want to do something on the platform or something on the application, you are going to assign some responsibility of that particular application and granted access. If you want to access anything on the Google, you have to have your Google account, that is accessing, providing the, granting the accessing to fetch anything from the Google. These are all the applications. Who is going to provide? A central processor is going to provide. These are all the applications. How to use those applications? The analysis carried out by Software Information Industry Association was mainly oriented to cover the application service provider, ASP, and all their variations, which captures the concepts of the software applications consumed by the service in the broader sense. What is ASP? ASP already had some of the core characteristics of SaaS. What are those core character? The product sold to the customer is application access only. What we are giving? We are giving only the access to the application. We are not providing a platform. We are not providing the resources. So only we are providing the application access. The application is centrally managed. Who is going to manage those applications? Centrally that can be managed. Okay. And then the service delivered is one to many. How we are giving the services? One services will be provided to the many users. The service delivered is an integrated solution delivered on the contract, which means provides a public permissions as a permissions. Whenever you are using any apps, installing any apps, it will ask for all the terms and conditions. Once you tick mark on that, it will give you the access permissions. So that is, whenever we are delivering, we have to bind to the contract of that particular applications. Apart from that, software as a service approach lays on the top of cloud computing stack. As I already told you, it is three service provider as PaaS and SaaS. So it is on the top of cloud computing stack. It fits into the cloud computing vision expressed by the acts, that is everything as in a services. To have this as, these all things you should get as a services by default. The benefits of delivering at the stage were as follows. What are the advantages of having SaaS? The software cost reduction and the total cost of ownership were paramount. The cost of the software will be less, as a single application will be used by the many users. The service level improvement, it provides a service level improvement. Whenever user is using that particular application, it takes all the feedbacks and it improves the servicing of that particular application. Rapid implementation, we can implement it rapidly. In the fraction of second, you can use those applications. The standalone and configurable application, a single application and it can be configurable with a different platform. You can use the same application with the mobile, same application with the computer. Rudimentary applications and the data integration, it also provides the data integration. The subscription and pay as you go pricing, how much you are paying to them, how much you are using, only that much amount you are paying. This is the advantage of having the pass. SaaS is easy to buy, we can aram se buy. Most of the applications are free and some of the application is costly. It's easy to buy, it having one-to-many, one application used by many users. Less hardware requirement for the SaaS, we need not to worry about the hardware requirement because everything is managed by the service provider. Low maintenance requirement for SaaS, need not to maintain any operating system, hardware or the platforms, it is maintenance free. No special software or the hardware version required. If you want to install any app into your laptop or your mobile, no special hardware is required, you can directly install. So multi-device support, that is either you can use a laptop or you can use a computer. API integration, application program interface will be integrated in the each application. No client-side installation, we need not to install, we can directly use online. Like for Domino's, it has own app, right? You can install it, or if you can use directly online, you can use online, no need to install. If you wish, you can install, right? So these are the advantage. Disadvantage what we have is security, latency issue. What is security? Data is stored on the cloud, so security may be an issue for some users. However, the cloud computing is not more secure than in-house computing, in-house deployment. In-house means on-premises deployment. Latency issue, there is a possibility that there may be greater latency when the interfacing with the application compared to the local development. If you have any network issues, that latency will come into the picture. Then apart from that, two more disadvantage, total dependency on the internet. If you are not having internet connection, you cannot use any of the applications. That is total dependency on the internet. Switching between the SaaS vendor is difficult. You are taking the resources, you are taking the platform, you are taking the application that is deployed on the platform, everything you are taking. Once you want to switch from one service provider to another service provider, it is very difficult because from the base you are taking everything from the same, and if you want to replace it from the base, you have to replace everything. So these are some of the SaaS service provider. Overall, Salesforce, Microsoft Office 365, Google App, Google Meet, GoToMeet, and Constant Contact, Oracle, NetSuite, and Workday. These are some of the SaaS provider who provides the software as an applications. Now, the last topic we have is comparison between the different service providers. So, based on some characteristics, we are going to compare as, PaaS, and then SaaS. What the comparison we have? Standard form of as is infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and the software as a service. And users who are going to use this, as is used by the network architecture, who is going to develop its own application that is going to use the network architecture. Who is going to use the PaaS? Used by the developers, who is going to want to develop the application using the inbuilt libraries, they uses the PaaS. And SaaS is used by the end users. End user means the clients. Access, as gives the access to the resources like virtual machines and the virtual storage. Once we have a virtual resources, we can use a virtual machine and virtual storage. PaaS give the access to the runtime environment and the deployment and development of the tools on the application. As gives the access to the end user, that just we are using the applications. Model, It is a service model that provides the virtualization computing resources over the internet, creating the virtualization. It is a cloud computing model that delivers the tools that are used for development of the application. It gives the platform for developing the application. It is a service model in the cloud computing that hosts the software to make available to the client only the application that is used by the user. Apart from that, some more differences: technical understanding. As you should have more technical understanding, requires technical knowledge, more technical knowledge. Some knowledge is required for the basic setup. Only little knowledge we can use. Here in the SAS, there is no requirement about the technicality, completely, and everything in the provided. Popularity: it is popular among the developers and the researchers. It is also popular among the developer who focuses on the development of apps and the scripts. Scripting is nothing but your website development. Okay, it is popular among the consumers and the companies such as sharing, email, and the networking type of companies they can use. And the percentage rise, how it is rising in the percentage? As 12%, PAS 32%, and SAS is 27%. So most of the time what they are using the PAS, platform as a service. And then usage, how much usage we have used by the skilled developer to develop a unique application, their own application, and used by the middle level developer to have an application which is designed by someone, used among the users for the entertainment. Just you are using the apps. Cloud services, who are going to provide these type of services, as will be provided by the Amazon Web Services, Sun Cloud Express, and PaaS will be provided with the Google search engine, and SaaS will be provided with the Facebook's, Google Apps, and Microsoft Webs. These are all the comparison what we have between each type of service provider or service architecture. That's all for the day. Thank you.